Happy Chinese New Year. We are still within the Chinese New Year celebration, okay? And I think a lot of people are still on holiday. Okay, um, okay. What I'm going to before I share on the topic of spiritual warfare, I just like to do a quick revision for all the people that have come into the room, and our, Air Asia has a slogan called "Everyone Can Fly." All right, Elijah Challenge have a slogan that says "Everyone can heal." Effectively, just like Jesus, because Jesus went around during his time healing the sick. All right, and doing deliverance on the people who are oppressed. So, just a quick revision. Um, um, all the main five principles of Elijah Challenge is on your five fingers. Okay. The first one is you must forgiveness. All right. You must ask the person you're ministering to let go of any unforgiveness. Why unforgiveness obstruct you from receiving your healing? Unforgiveness is such a big thing with God, because God says, if you don't forgive your brother by sunset, I will not even listen to your prayers. That's how toxic and poisonous unforgiveness is to our system. It's a big poison. Okay, the second finger on the five is kingly authority. We don't pray, all right? We have to exercise our kingly authority, and we have to command healing. All right, we don't pray with priestly prayer. We don't pray prophetic prayers. We we command healing to come into being, and when we cast out demon, we command the demons to get out of the body. Okay, that's number two. Number three, we must have mountain moving faith. For a start, you may have baby faith because you're not confident, you're still learning, you're just an amateur, you haven't reached the professional stage. But as you can stick to it and you persevere, you find that your baby faith grow by leaps and bounds until you come to the full confidence whereby you know your power and authority to heal the sick that is already given by Jesus on the cross of Calvary. All right. So there will come a time when you tell the mountain, slide down into the sea, and the whole mountain will crumble right into the sea. Okay. Then you know you have arrived. Okay. Number four. Number four is perseverance. Don't give up. Tenacity. I commanded for a lady in a wheelchair. I had to do it more than 10 times, before she could get up from her wheelchair and start to walk. And there was a lady from room one. She was she was so afflicted in pain. She could hardly walk. She came to the meeting in a walking stick, and we had to command. Brother Robert and I have to command 5 times before she was totally healed, and she threw away her walking stick and she went out rejoicing, totally healed. So that's number four, perseverance. Last time before I came into Elijah Challenge, I'll just pray one time, and if you don't get healed, I'll walk away. I give up. But now I have the tenacity and the perseverance of a pit bull. All right, I don't give up until the person is totally healed. Number five is ask that person to do something he couldn't do before. Test it out. Last year in April the first, I commanded for an 80-year-old bedridden man. Okay, and he couldn't even turn his body. He had to be fed and washed by the maid and the wife. After I've commanded, and I asked him, try and do something you couldn't do before. Get up, walk a few steps and he protested, he said, wow, that's impossible, because he didn't have the faith and he didn't believe that he was healed. But anyway, he tried and he got up and he walked, and he walked. And 1 month later, he sent a video, totally healed, walking around his garden. So test, okay? Otherwise you won't know whether the person is healed. Okay? Like Jesus would tell the cripple, get up and walk, right? And they can walk. So with these five aspects, forgiveness, kingly authority, mountain moving faith, perseverance, and tests, all right? With once you put all these five principles into practice, you can heal the sick already. Okay, but why? Because Jesus have already given you the power and authority to heal the sick. In Mark 16, Jesus said, in my name, to all who believe, you will lay hands on the sick and they will recover. Okay, so that makes us very powerful people. All right. So keep on coming in, keep on learning, keep on practicing, and then before you know it, you are exactly like Jesus. All right, we are turning you into Jesus so that you can fly like Superman and Superwoman. All right, what am I going to speak on today? Let's see, about 10 minutes. Okay, introduction. Okay, there is a spiritual realm of warfare that 99% of Christians are not conscious of. Why? Because we were born into a natural world and we have been living our life naturally. All right. we use our God-given brains to solve all our problems naturally. But unknown to us, there is a spiritual realm. And there's a famous saying, things that go bump in the night, that means there are spirits. All right. Of course, there are spirits because God is a spirit. The Holy Spirit is called a spirit because Holy Spirit. All right. So there is a spiritual realm that most Christians are not aware of. They are totally unaware of, and because they've been growing up in the natural realm, eating, sleeping, everything, and they see is natural. Until there's a manifestation, then wow, they get a shock. But for Asians, we are used to the spirit realm because our parents were Taoists, they were Buddhists, some were Hindus, and so we go to the temple and we see the medium going into a trance, and then for certain the nine emperor gods, they will walk on charcoal, and for the Indian, they will pierce their mouth, carry the kavadi to pay for all their sins. So to Asians, somehow the spiritual realm is not unknown, okay? And the Chinese have a ghost month where the ghosts come back, for that month, and so on. And and so, but yet we don't have encounters with this spiritual realm of darkness, as we call it. And it's a good thing, because when you come into the Elijah Challenge, this is the platform whereby you are introduced into the spiritual realm. Why? Because we are taught to do healing and deliverance. Okay, healing and deliverance go parallel. They run parallel, because a lot of generally, I teach that diseases that do not have a medical cure or remedy has 100% is spiritually rooted. Okay, some of the examples of diseases that cannot be healed by medicine is all the mental one, Alzheimer, dementia, schizophrenia, bipolar, all these are unsound mind, and then and when you go and visit the psychiatrists try to diagnose you in the natural, because the psychiatrists do not have any inkling or knowledge about the spiritual realm at all. So as a doctor, he will try to diagnose you and put a term to what you're suffering from. So when you are demonized, you hear voices, and then suddenly you are taken, possessed or oppressed by different demons. You behave. Sometimes it's a female demon, you behave like female. Sometimes a male demon, you behave like a male. So there are different aspect of you changing. So you go and see the psychiatrist, and you tell him, "Doc, I hear voices, I'm a different person." Oh, the doctor immediately diagnose you and put a term on you called schizophrenia. You're suffering from schizophrenia, split personality. You change from one person to another person. And then if you have severe mood shift, you go into rage, you lose your temper, you get angry and violent, and then next minute you calm down, you're back to normal. And then after that, you have this mood shift again, very violent, angry, and abusive. And then you go to the psychiatrist, you tell the psychiatrist, oh, he says severe, I'll diagnose it as bipolar. Yeah, it's under the. So the psychiatrist cannot cure you because it's a spiritually rooted. So what they can do is they will prescribe sedative medicine to calm you down, so that you don't go, you are not so violent, you're not so angry, you're not so abusive. So they have sedate you, but sometimes they over sedate you. I've seen, I minister to people, they are so sedated that their salivary gland cannot function. They are drooling, they're drooling. And then they are like a zombie because they are so sedated, their speech is not even audible. They are like mumbling, and they move around slow motion, like a zombie. And when I'm casting out demons, they ask me, Henry, shall we send him to the hospital? And I said, no, 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 no. When I've cast out the last demon, that person will be back to normal. Uh, and and so that's what Jesus did, casting out demons. So it's biblical, the deliverance is biblical. And the Catholics call deliverance exorcism, all right? They have different term for it, but it's casting out demons. So when Jesus went to the cemetery in Gadarenes, there was this demoniac who had a legion, thousands of demons in him, and he was so abusive, and he would cut himself with a stone until his whole body and face all bleeding, and when they try to chain him down, he would just snap the chain like toothpick, because the demons in him are so many, they are so make him so strong, and very abusive, shouting, threatening the people, and hair all dirty, matted, and eyes all red. So nobody dared to go near the cemetery, but Jesus walked into the cemetery, and immediately, the demons run to Jesus and kneel down before Jesus. Why? Because there is a ranking in the spiritual realm, all right? There is a ranking. And principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness in high places, these are all the rankings of the demons. And we in Elijah Challenge are asked not to fight with the higher ranking demons, but to cast out the lower ranking demons out of the body of the people that come before us. And even in the kingdom of God, there is a ranking, all right? There are novices, there are professionals. And of course, when the demons saw Jesus, they immediately recognized and they say, Son of God, they know Jesus was Son of God. What are you here to do? It's not our time up yet. Jesus asks, what's your name? They say, Legion, for we are many. And they bow down and worship him, and they ask permission for Jesus to allow them to be cast out into the pigs. All right. So the Bible says that demons come from dry places. They are wandering in dry places, and God gave them authority to reign in the air around the earth. So they are spirit of air. That's why when they attack you, generally they will attack your respiratory system, your nose, your throat, and your lungs. So when COVID came, COVID was God showed me 100% demonic, and so they attacked the respiratory system, and finally, when the patient can't breathe, they die. All right, and the hospitals ran out of oxygen machines and all the life giving breathing apparatus. So they are spirit of air. and and so there is a ranking in God's kingdom as well. So as you come into Elijah Challenge and you heal and you deliver, your ranking actually grows. You don't see it, but slowly you start as a corporal, then a lance corporal, then a sergeant, then a major, then finally you become a general. Okay, and in the spiritual realm, the demons will recognize your ranking and your standing. All right. I've been doing deliverance, for 30, 40 years. I The reason why I ended up in deliverance was because when I was a young Christian, I was afraid of the dark and I was afraid of ghosts. All right. And my pastor used to mock at me, "Whoa, you're a Christian, and you're afraid of dark." And I can't help it. The reason why we are afraid is because of the word ignorance. With ignorance comes fear because it is an area of the unknown, the twilight zone, all right, the fourth dimension. And even pastors are afraid, no, not only me, because of the ignorance regarding this area. That's why when you come in here, you learn, you learn and experience as well. I learned so much, I'm sure a lot of you have learned a lot in terms of the spiritual realm, in terms of deliverance and so on. And it stands us to good state because we are more equipped than a lot of men of God, or pastors, because there's so little teaching and in this area that Prophet Hosea said, "No, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge." And really, it's just a question of teaching. And then God threw me into the deep end of the swimming pool and brought cases after cases of demoniacs. So I didn't know what to do because nobody taught me, how to do deliverance. And so for a start, the demons all laugh at me and mocked at me. "Oh, you got no power to cast us out. You're useless." They laugh at me. But slowly I learned, and I finally, wow, I understood that Jesus' death on the cross of Calvary has already given me power and authority over all the demonic forces. Because when Jesus said to the Father, "It is finished," what is finished? The devil is finished because the devil work is destroyed, number one. Number two, Jesus disarmed the principalities and power and put them to open display, strip them of all power. And then thirdly, Jesus triumphed over all the demonic forces and send them back to outer darkness and the dry places from where they come from. And not only that, the beautiful part was Jesus gave us the power and authority over snakes and scorpions, over all these demons. So in other words, we have absolute power over that. And I discovered, that I actually have a bulletproof armor that I can't see, but the demons can see, that I have this 1 mile thick armor around me, and it's like me wearing a stainless steel armor walking to a lion's cage. I can catch hold of the lion and slap them around, and when the lion tried to bite me, all the teeth will fall out. And wow, I became fearless. I became bold. Wow, I absolutely lost total fear of demons. Oh, that's what God did for me. Turned me from a coward into a warrior of of 6-star warrior. All right. And so this is what we meant for you all to come in. Okay. Next week I will then teach you. I will share with you more on the steps of deliverance, what to do, and how to handle when people manifest. And like I said, most of the diseases that cannot be cured by medical remedy can be cured by casting out the demons. All right. So we have to discern. All right, we have to discern, and that is a general ruling. And then, of course, the people who come in are dysfunctional, and their look also look different, lah. So you know they are very oppressed. Okay, that's for tonight. Tune in again next week. We'll share more on the spiritual realm. Back to you, Rick, Brother Rick.